In the autumn of 1952, a boy was born in the shattered remnants of Leningrad, a city bruised by war, hardened by hunger. That boy grew up in a communal apartment, in a post-Ace world where Nazis and Cold War left a huge footprint, a nasty footprint. By 1999, he was acting president of the Russian Federation and he was elected on the upcoming 21st century. And in the following decades, he didn't simply hold the power, but he redefined his role and challenged his pre-existing frame of what the president should do. He promised to restore greatness, and according to himself, he acted accordingly. You know who I'm referring to? Vladimir Putin, a controversial guy who is always at the top of the headline. But today, I want us to step back from that narrative, how he became a president, how he's a world leader, and so on. And just for a moment, let us ask, what is the cost of the war? And what is the cost of his power? And when does his strength, if left unchecked, reach the line between leadership and something else entirely? Since February 24th, 2022, the war in Ukraine has become not just a regional conflict, but a major threat to the world's peace and economy. The United Nations confirms that over 13,000 civilians have died and over 31,000 have been injured since the war began. April of this year marked a grim escalation, and what happened was ridiculous. 209 civilians were killed and 1,146 were wounded, including 19 innocent yet immature children. One missile strike in Sumy alone took 35 lives, and most of them were just having their ordinary day. And to be honest, these are not totally unexpected. I would say it's rather a pattern. We saw this pattern in the past and we judged these past footprints as a mistake. Hitler, Mussolini, and Ito, they were our communists who turned millions of lives into nothing but the dust and ashes. And there's literally a guy who's repeating the same thing. But why is this guy, Vladimir Putin, still recognized as a leader and not the criminal? No hate, no bias, no offense, but this is a question that we really have to think about. Let's get a bit deeper into the statistics. UNICEF and ICC, in short, estimate that over 19,000 Ukrainian children have been forcibly relocated to the Russian territory, and some are re-educated, brainwashed, and others are placed in Russian families. Their names, languages, and histories have been erased. In March 2023, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Putin for children's rights, citing that this guy forced deportation as a breach of international law. But wait, isn't 21st century supposed to be a time of transparency where all these kind of things happen only in the movie? Yet here we are again, watching cities burn on live television, hearing the same speech about territory integrity while the bodies of children are buried beneath the newly constructed apartments. But here's the thing, we keep telling ourselves that this century is different, that we've evolved, that technology, diplomacy, and global institutions have somewhat made the world safer and more rational. But has it? Because here we are again, as I've mentioned, we're just watching apartment buildings collapse on BBC and we're just calling it a part of progress. We built the ICC, the UN, the Geneva Conventions not just as a symbol but as a safeguard that protects us. When they are dismissed, when they're treated like suggestion rather than standard, what do they become? They just become a paper or perhaps a document that never existed. It's not about hating certain country or certain political mind. It's about knowing the difference between defense, destruction, between the leading the nation and using the nation as a shield, and between order and fear disguised as order. And if we don't speak now, when should we? Perhaps when the next city falls, or maybe when the next child goes silenced. And worse yet, these things are happening even while I'm giving the speech. Because silence always favors the aggressor, we gotta speak up. And forgetting the past, that just brings a new version of the same history, like we commonly say. Apology for those who wanted to see if I support Putin or not, but today, we are not here to declare anyone guilty. One can be guilty, but we are not here to judge that. We are here to say that this pattern of war isn't normal, and it shouldn't be treated like this. So let's stop pretending that these are expectations. They aren't. They are the choices that we make. And choices always comes with consequences. Thank you.
UNW, Jeju UNESCO Association, and the World Culture Economy newspaper.